Commander Jack Phillips stood at the main window of the Star Voyager's bridge, hands clasped behind his back as he watched the stars. The ship hummed softly around him, systems running smoothly as they prepared for their first meeting with the Zraki Imperium. After 5 years of distant communications, humans would finally meet these powerful aliens face to face. "Commander, we're on course to reach the meeting point in 6 hours," said Lisa Carter from her pilot's seat. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel, making small adjustments to their path. Jack nodded. "Good. Has everyone reviewed the briefing materials about Zraki customs?" "Yes, sir," replied Alan Rogers, the ship's security chief. Alan was a tall man with a serious face and alert eyes that missed nothing. "Though I still think we should bring more security to this meeting." Jack turned from the window. "The Zraki specifically requested a small delegation. We need to show trust if we want this alliance to work. Earth needed friends in space. Since humans had started traveling beyond their solar system 30 years ago, they had discovered a universe filled with both wonders and dangers. The Zraki controlled trade routes across 3 galaxies and had technology far beyond Earth's. An alliance with them would help keep humanity safe in this vast and often unfriendly universe. "Commander, incoming message," called out Communications Officer Danielle Park. Her voice held an unusual edge. "It's from Colony Outpost 7 on Callisto. They're broadcasting on the emergency channel." Jack frowned. Colony Outpost 7 was one of Earth's newest settlements, home to about 500 people who were testing new farming methods on Jupiter's terraformed moon. "Put it through." The main screen flickered and showed the face of a man with wild eyes and shaking hands. Behind him, people ran back and forth in panic. "This is Governor Ryan Wilson of Colony Outpost 7. We need immediate help. A ship landed near the school during outside playtime. They took our children, 12 of them ages 8 to 13. The ship had markings like nothing we've seen before. It was gone before we could do anything." The bridge fell silent. Jack felt his heart drop into his stomach. "Did you capture any images of the ship?" he asked, keeping his voice steady despite the cold fear spreading through his chest. "Yes. Sending now." A second image appeared on a smaller screen. The ship was sleek and green with odd spikes along its sides. Jack didn't need to look twice. It matched the description of a Zraki scout vessel. "How long ago did this happen?" Jack asked. 22 minutes, Governor Wilson replied. His voice broke. "Please, you have to help us. My daughter is one of them." Jack straightened his back. "We'll get them back, Governor. I promise. Star Voyager out." He turned to Lisa. "Change course immediately. We're heading to the Zraki diplomatic vessel at maximum speed." "Yes, sir." Her fingers flew across the controls as the giant engines roared to life. Jack turned to his crew. Their faces showed shock, anger, and determination. "I need everything we have on Zraki attitudes toward children. Right now." Science Officer Samantha Wright spoke up. "Sir, there's not much in our database. The Zraki are very private about their family structures. We know they're insect-like and live in a hierarchical society, but details about their reproduction and child rearing are unknown." "What we do know," Alan added, his hand resting on his weapon, "is that the Zraki have absorbed 17 other species into their empire in the last century. Some joined willingly for protection. Others didn't have a choice." Jack walked to the center of the bridge. "I want all systems at full readiness. This is no longer a diplomatic mission." "Commander," Danielle said hesitantly, "the Zraki ship is 10 times our size with weapons that could destroy us in seconds. What exactly is our plan?" Jack looked at each member of his crew. "Our plan is to educate the Zraki about humans, specifically about what happens when someone takes human children." He turned to the ship's AI. "Computer, open a channel to Earth Central Command, Priority Alpha." "Channel open," the computer replied in its smooth voice. "This is Commander Phillips of the Star Voyager. We have an emergency situation. Zraki forces have abducted 12 children from Colony Outpost 7. We're moving to intercept their diplomatic vessel now, but request immediate backup. Send every available ship to these coordinates." Admiral Barbara Lee's face appeared on screen. Her expression hardened as Jack explained the situation. All available ships are being redirected to your position, Commander. The nearest will arrive in 8 hours. Until then, you're on your own. Understood, Admiral. Jack, she said, dropping formal titles. Those are our children. Get them back. We will. 3 hours later, the Star Voyager approached the massive Zraki diplomatic vessel. It looked like a giant green beetle floating against the blackness of space with strange lights pulsing along its hull. They're hailing us, Danielle reported. On screen, Jack ordered. The image of a Zraki appeared. Jack had seen pictures during briefings, but seeing one move and speak was different. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall, with a hard, shiny exoskeleton the color of jade. Its head featured 2 large, compound eyes that reflected the light, in thousands of tiny mirrors. 4 arms emerged from its thorax, and its mouth parts, mandibles, and smaller feeding appendages moved constantly. Greetings, humans of Vessel Star Voyager, the translator rendered the Zraki's clicking speech. I am First Ambassador Krizla. We are pleased you have arrived ahead of schedule for our historical meeting. Jack stepped forward. Ambassador Krizla, I am Commander Jack Phillips. We're here about a serious incident. A Zraki scout ship landed on one of our colonies and took 12 of our children. We demand their immediate return. The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly. The translation came through. Ah yes, standard evaluation procedure. Do not be concerned. Jack felt his crew tense around him. Standard procedure? He asked, keeping his voice level with effort. Indeed. We always collect juvenile specimens when meeting new species. It helps us understand growth patterns, learning capabilities, and biological development. Your offspring are being well cared for in our nursery section. Jack took a deep breath. Ambassador, I need to be very clear. Taking human children is not acceptable under any circumstances. It's a violation of our most basic laws and values. The Zraki's head tilted slightly. This reaction is unusual. Most species understand the practical necessity of our research. The juveniles will be returned after standard testing. No, Jack said firmly. They will be returned immediately without any testing. Human children are not specimens for research. The ambassador's compound eyes seemed to flash with different colors. Commander Phillips, I sense unusual emotion in your voice patterns. Is there some cultural significance we have failed to grasp? Yes, Ambassador, there is. Humans are extremely protective of our young. By taking our children, you've committed what we consider an act of war. The Zraki's body stiffened. War? Over juvenile collection? This is most irregular. Alan leaned toward Jack and whispered, They really don't get it, do they? Jack turned back to the screen. Ambassador Krizla, I request permission to come aboard your vessel with a small team to discuss this matter further, and to confirm the children's safety. After a pause, the ambassador responded, Permission granted. You may bring 2 others. As the screen went dark, Samantha spoke quietly. They've made a terrible mistake, haven't they? Jack nodded grimly. Yes. And unless we can make them understand quickly, they're about to learn why taking human children is the most dangerous mistake any species could make. Jack selected Samantha Wright and Alan Rogers to join him on the Zraki ship. Before leaving, he gathered his crew on the bridge. While we're over there, Lieutenant Park is in command, Jack said. If we don't check in every 30 minutes or if you detect any weapons charging, get this ship to a safe distance and wait for backup. Danielle nodded, her face serious. Understood, Commander. Jack turned to the team going with him. Remember, we're still trying for a peaceful solution, but if that fails, our priority is getting those children safely back to their families. The 3 officers entered the small shuttle that would take them to the Zraki ship. As they approached the massive green vessel, Jack noticed how the outer hull seemed to shimmer and shift, almost like it was alive. Amazing, Samantha whispered, her scientific curiosity temporarily overriding her concern. Their hull appears to be partially organic. It might be self-healing. The shuttle entered a large opening that closed behind them like a mouth. They landed in a bay with walls that pulsed with soft green light. As they stepped out, 3 Zraki approached. Up close, the aliens were even more intimidating. nearly 7 feet tall with hard, gleaming exoskeletons. "Welcome aboard the Sovereign." "Light," said the middle Zraki, its words translated through the small devices the humans wore in their ears. "I am First Ambassador Krizla. Please follow me." The humans were led through winding corridors where the walls seemed to breathe. Other Zraki stopped to watch them pass, mandibles clicking rapidly in what Jack guessed was their form of whispering. "Your vessel is impressive," Jack said, trying to establish a polite tone despite the circumstances. "Thank you," Krizla replied. "The Sovereign Light is a living ship, grown rather than built. It is over 200 of your Earth years old." They entered a large circular room with a window that looked out into space. Strange objects floated in glass containers around the room. Plants, small creatures, and artifacts from worlds Jack didn't recognize. "This is my personal collection," Krizla explained. "Samples from my explorations across 17 galaxies." Jack noticed Alan tense beside him. They were thinking the same thing. Was this how the Zraki saw the human children? As specimens for a collection? "Ambassador," Jack said firmly, "we need to see the children now." "Of course." Krizla touched a panel on the wall. A large screen appeared, showing a room with transparent walls. Inside, 12 human children huddled together on cushioned benches. They looked scared, but unharmed. Jack recognized some of them from the colony records he had reviewed during the journey. 10-year-old twins Katie and Kevin Mason sat holding hands. Near them was Ben Harris, the colony governor's 13-year-old son. The youngest was 8-year-old Lily Adams, who was crying quietly while an older girl tried to comfort her. "Island, you can see they are well cared for," Krizla said. "We have provided food, water, and rest areas appropriate for human physiology." "They're terrified," Jack said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "Ambassador, I need to explain something critical about humans that you seem to misunderstand. Our children are not specimens for study. They are the most precious and protected members of our society." Krizla's head tilted. "This is confusing. They are merely immature versions of your species, yes? Why such concern over temporary study?" Samantha stepped forward. "Ambassador, may I ask about Zraki reproduction and child rearing? It might help us understand each other better." The ambassador's mandibles moved in what might have been a sign of approval. An excellent scientific approach. Zraki lay eggs, thousands at once. The strongest hatch and survive by consuming their siblings. We have no concept of what you call parenting. Young Zraki compete for resources until they reach maturity and earn their place in the imperial hierarchy. Jack exchanged glances with his officers. This explained a lot about the cultural misunderstanding. "Our species is very different," Samantha explained. "Human females typically produce one child at a time. We invest years of care in each child. Human parents form deep emotional bonds with their offspring and will do anything to protect them." "Anything?" Krizla asked. "Humans have been known to lift vehicles weighing thousands of pounds to save their trapped children," Alan said. "Parents will run into burning buildings, fight armed attackers, or sacrifice their own lives without hesitation to protect their young." Krizla's compound eyes reflected the humans' faces. "This behavior seems irrational from an evolutionary perspective. Yet it's how we've survived as a species," Jack said. "Ambassador, right now every parent on Colony Outpost 7 is ready to fight to the death to get their children back. And they have the full support of Earth's military forces." He paused to let that sink in. "We want peace with the Zraki, but you need to understand, there is nothing more dangerous in the universe than humans whose children are threatened." The ambassador was silent for several moments, its alien face unreadable. Finally, it spoke. "You claim your entire species would risk war with the Zraki Imperium, which controls vast territories and technologies far beyond yours, over these 12 juveniles?" "Without hesitation," Jack confirmed. "And with absolutely no regret, regardless of the outcome." Krizla made a series of rapid clicking sounds that the translator didn't catch. Then it said, "I find this difficult to believe. Perhaps a demonstration would be helpful." "What kind of demonstration?" Jack asked cautiously. "I would like to meet one of these parents you describe. Bring one aboard, and I will observe this protective behavior firsthand." Jack considered the request. It was risky, but it might be their best chance to make the Zraki understand. I can arrange that, he said. But first I want my science officer to examine the children and confirm their well-being. Acceptable, Chrysla agreed. While Samantha was escorted to the children, Jack contacted the Star Voyager. Danielle, I need you to send a message to Colony Outpost 7. Ask for Olivia Mason to volunteer to join us. The twins' mother? Danielle asked. Are you sure that's wise, Commander? She's exactly who we need, Jack replied. And prepare the ship for possible emergency departure. Things might get complicated very quickly. After Samantha returned and confirmed the children were physically unharmed but emotionally distressed, Chrysla led them to another room. This one contained various artifacts and weapons displayed on the walls, trophies from the Zraki's many conquests. Tell me, Commander, the ambassador said, gesturing to the displays. How would your humans fare against civilizations that could crack planets in half or create artificial black holes as weapons? We'd find a way to survive, Jack said simply. Humans are very good at adapting, and very, very protective of our children. We shall see, Chrysla replied. I look forward to meeting this Olivia Mason and observing her behavior. Perhaps she will help me understand why your species places such irrational importance on individual offspring. Jack smiled slightly. Yes, Ambassador. I think she'll make things very clear. 2 hours later, a small shuttle from Colony Outpost 7 docked with the Star Voyager. Olivia Mason stepped onto the bridge, her face pale but determined. She was a small woman with brown hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. In normal times, she taught math to middle school students. Now she was here to help rescue her 10-year-old twins and the other children. Commander Phillips, she said, shaking Jack's hand. Thank you for letting me come. Ms. Mason, I need to be clear about what we're asking, Jack said. The Zraki don't understand our connection to our children. They want to observe a parent's protective behavior firsthand. This could be dangerous. Olivia's eyes hardened. I saw my children on that screen. Katie was trying to be brave, but I could see how scared she was. Kevin hasn't stopped holding her hand since they were taken. She took a deep breath. I'll do whatever it takes to get them back. Jack nodded. We'll be with you the whole time. When they boarded the Zraki ship, Ambassador Chrysla was waiting. The alien's compound eyes seemed to study Olivia with interest. This is the parent unit of 2 juveniles in our collection? Chrysla asked. Jack felt Olivia stiffen beside him at the word collection, but she kept her composure. Yes, Jack said. This is Olivia Mason, mother of Katie and Kevin Mason. Chrysla's mandibles clicked rapidly. She appears to be an ordinary female of your species. I detect no special defensive adaptations. Looks can be deceiving, Alan muttered. Want to see my children? Olivia said firmly. Of course, Chrysla replied. That is the purpose of this observation. They walked through the living corridors of the ship until they reached the area where the children were being held. Through the transparent walls, Olivia spotted her twins. Kevin saw her first and nudged his sister. Both children jumped to their feet, pressing their hands against the clear barrier. Mom, they shouted, their voices muffled by the wall between them. Olivia rushed forward, placing her hands against the barrier where her children's hands touched on the other side. Katie, Kevin, are you okay? Did they hurt you? We're okay, Mom, Kevin said. Just scared. I want to go home, Katie added, tears running down her face. Olivia turned to Chrysla, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Let them out. Let all of them out right now. Chrysla's head tilted. I am still observing this interaction. The data suggests strong attachment, but nothing that would justify risking interspecies conflict. Jack stepped forward. Ambassador, I suggest you reconsider your position, Ms. Mason has asked politely. That may not last. Fascinating, Chrysla said. You imply this single female presents a threat to my ship and crew? We have over 2,000 Zraki warriors aboard. Mom, Kevin called through the barrier. They took blood samples from everyone. They said they're going to do more tests tomorrow. Something changed in Olivia's face. Jack had seen that look before, in soldiers about to go into battle. Her focus narrowed, her body tensed, and her voice dropped to a dangerous calm. "Open this wall now," she said to Chrysla, "or I will find a way to open it myself." Chrysla made a sound that the translator rendered as laughter. "Your determination is admirable but misplaced. The containment field can withstand forces far greater than any human could generate." Olivia's eyes scanned the room, stopping on a control panel near the entrance to the children's enclosure. Without warning, she darted toward it. Two Zraki guards moved to intercept her. They were larger than Chrysla, with heavier exoskeletons and what looked like natural armor plates. Each had 4 arms ending in pincer-like hands. What happened next stunned everyone, including Jack. Olivia ducked under the first guard's reaching arms and used her smaller size to slip past the second. When one guard grabbed her arm, she twisted and used the alien's own momentum to throw it off balance, a move Jack recognized from basic combat training. Before anyone could stop her, Olivia reached the wall and spotted what appeared to be a ceremonial staff mounted there, later identified as an ancestral weapon of the Zraki Royal Guard. She grabbed it and spun around just as 3 more guards entered the room. "Stay back," she warned, holding the staff like someone who knew how to use it. Jack remembered reading in her file that she had competed in martial arts before becoming a teacher. The guards hesitated, looking to Chrysla for orders. "Restrain the human female," the ambassador commanded. "Carefully, she is a research subject now." The guards moved forward. What followed would later be recorded in both human and Zraki historical archives. Olivia Mason, a middle school math teacher and mother of twins, disabled 5 Zraki warriors in less than 30 seconds. The staff moved like an extension of her body as she struck with precision and strength that seemed impossible for her size. When it was over, 5 guards lay on the floor, not seriously injured, but unable to continue fighting. Olivia stood with the staff pointed at Ambassador Chrysla's thorax, her breathing only slightly faster than normal. "Open the wall," she said again. "Now." The ship's alarm began to sound. More guards would be coming soon. "Ambassador," Jack said, urgently, "I suggest you do as she asks. This situation will only escalate if you don't." Chrysla's compound eyes flickered between Olivia and the fallen guards. For the first time, Jack sensed uncertainty in the alien's posture. "You would fight our entire security force?" Chrysla asked Olivia. "The odds of success are 0. "The odds don't matter," Olivia replied, not lowering the staff. "Those are my children. I'll fight your entire empire if I have to." Chrysla was silent. For a moment, mandibles working slowly as if processing new information. Then it touched a control on its arm device. The transparent wall separating Olivia from her children shimmered and disappeared. Katie and Kevin ran to their mother, rapping, their arms around her waist. The other children stayed back uncertain. "All of them," Olivia said, still holding the staff with one arm while hugging her children with the other. "Release all of them." Chrysla made another gesture, and the remaining barriers disappeared. The rest of the children slowly moved forward, staying close together. "Commander Phillips," Chrysla said, turning to Jack, "I believe I now understand what you were trying to explain about human parents. This female disabled 5 of my best warriors to reach her offspring. The biological drive must be extraordinary." "It's not just biological," Jack replied. "It's emotional. It's about love." "Love." Chrysla repeated the word as if tasting something unfamiliar. "A concept we have encountered in other species, but never expressed with such physical consequences." The sound of many footsteps echoed in the corridor. Reinforcements arriving. "Ambassador," Jack said quickly, "you have a choice to make. You can either escalate this into a conflict that will end badly for everyone, or you can recognize that taking human children was a mistake and allow us to leave peacefully with them." Chrysla raised one arm, and when the new guards appeared at the doorway, the ambassador made a sharp clicking sound that made them stop. "I need time to consider the implications of what I have witnessed," Chrysla said. "You may take the juveniles to your ship while our leadership discusses this cultural misunderstanding." Jack nodded, relieved but still cautious. "Thank you, Ambassador." As they gathered the children and prepared to leave, Chrysla approached Olivia, keeping a respectful distance from the staff she still held. Human female, the ambassador said. You have altered our understanding of your species today. The Zraki Imperium does not often reconsider its methods, but in this case, we may need to make an exception. Olivia looked directly into Chrysla's alien eyes. Remember this feeling of uncertainty, Ambassador. It's what every species should feel before they consider taking a human child. Jack led the group quickly through the Zraki ship's corridors. 12 children and 4 adults moved as fast as they could toward the docking bay where their shuttle waited. Olivia still carried the Zraki staff, her twins close by her side. Yibo. Other children followed, some crying quietly, others simply looking shocked. Commander, Alan whispered as they walked. I count at least 30 Zraki watching us. They could still change their minds. Jack nodded. Stay alert. We're not safe until we're back on the Star Voyager. Samantha was checking each child as they walked, making sure none were injured. They all seem physically fine, she reported. Scared, but not hurt. As they reached the docking area, Jack noticed a small group of Zraki waiting by their shuttle. His hand moved to his weapon, but he kept it holstered. One of the Zraki stepped forward, not Chrysla, but another official with more elaborate markings on its exoskeleton. Commander Phillips, the translator rendered its clicks and hisses. I am High Commander Vretex of the Sovereign Light. Before you depart, our Leadership Council requests a brief meeting. Jack hesitated. Our priority is returning these children to safety. Of course, Vretex agreed. Half your team may take the juveniles to your vessel. You and one other may attend this meeting. It is important for future relations between our species. Jack considered the request. Getting the children to safety was most important, but this meeting could determine whether humans and Zraki would be at peace or war in the coming days. Samantha, Alan, take the children back to the Star Voyager, Jack decided. He turned to Olivia. Ms. Mason, would you be willing to stay for this meeting? Your perspective would be valuable. Olivia looked at her children, then back at Jack. Will they be safe on your ship? Yes. They'll receive medical attention and be able to contact their families. She knelt down to eye level with her twins. Katie, Kevin, I need you to go with Officer Wright. I'll be right behind you, I promise. The twins hugged their mother tightly. Don't stay, Mom, Kevin pleaded. I'll be fine, she assured him. Sometimes, adults need to talk to fix problems. I won't be long. After a tearful goodbye, Samantha and Alan led the children onto the shuttle. Jack watched through the viewing window as it detached from the Zraki ship and headed back to the Star Voyager. Now, Jack said, turning to High Commander Vretex, we're ready for that meeting. The Zraki led them to a large circular chamber where 6 more high-ranking Zraki waited around a table. Jack noticed their exoskeletons had different colors and patterns, some green, others with hints of blue or purple. Ambassador Chrysla was among them. Humans, Vretex began as they took seats designed for their anatomy. What occurred today has caused great concern among our leadership. In 6,000 years of galactic exploration, no species has ever reacted as yours has to standard collection procedures. Jack kept his face neutral. As we tried to explain, human children are not specimens to be collected. One of the older, Zraki with a faded exoskeleton that suggested great age, leaned forward. We have reviewed the security recordings of the female's actions. Most impressive. In my 300 cycles, I have never seen a non-warrior achieve such results against trained guards. I'm not a warrior, Olivia said simply. I'm a mother. The Zraki leaders made clicking sounds among themselves that the translator couldn't interpret. This is what we struggle to understand, Chrysla said. Our species lays thousands of eggs. The hatchlings must survive on their own from birth. The concept of parenting as you practice it is alien to us. Different species evolve different ways to survive, Jack explained. For humans, our young are born helpless and develop slowly. They need years of protection and teaching from adults. This created strong bonds between parents and children. bonds that trigger extreme protective responses when the children are threatened. Vradix's compound eyes reflected the light as it considered this. And all humans react this way to threats. Against juveniles, not just biological parents. Yes, Jack said, all humans are protective of children, though parents often have the strongest reactions. If we had known this cultural difference, Chrysla admitted, we would not have taken your juveniles. It was not our intention to start a conflict. But you did take them, Olivia pointed out, her voice firm. And you need to understand that if you had harmed them, no force in this galaxy could have stopped human parents from seeking justice. We would have fought until every last one of us was gone. The oldest Zraki made a gesture with its upper limbs. Such devotion to offspring is inefficient but admirable in its way. It explains much about how your species has survived despite your physical limitations. Jack leaned forward. What matters now is where we go from here. Will the Zraki Imperium recognize that taking human children violated our most sacred values? And will you commit to never doing so again? The Zraki leaders conferred among themselves, mandibles clicking rapidly. Finally, Vratix turned back to the humans. We have reached a decision. The Zraki Imperium acknowledges this cultural misunderstanding and will establish new protocols for interactions with humans. No human juveniles will be collected for any purpose. Additionally, we wish to continue diplomatic relations, as originally planned. Jack felt relief wash over him. That's good to hear, High Commander. However, Vradix continued, we request something in return. We wish to learn more about this human concept of parenting. It is unlike anything in our experience and may have scientific value. I think we can arrange cultural exchanges, Jack agreed cautiously, as long as they're voluntary and respect human rights. Acceptable, Vradix said. Now, one final matter, the ceremonial staff. All eyes turned to the weapon Olivia still held. She looked down at it, then back at the Zraki leaders. This staff has been in the Imperial Guard for 12 generations, Chrysla explained. It is of great historical significance. Olivia stood and held the staff out. I apologize for taking it. I was focused only on protecting my children. Vradix made a gesture that stopped her. No apology is needed. In fact, our council has decided that you should keep it. Surprise showed on both humans' faces. In Zraki tradition, when a warrior demonstrates exceptional skill with a weapon, that weapon chooses its wielder. You wielded this staff with a purpose and determination that impressed even our oldest veterans. It would honor us if you accepted it as a symbol of new understanding between our species. Olivia looked at the staff with new appreciation. Thank you. I accept this honor. As they prepared to leave, Chrysla approached Jack privately. Commander Phillips, you should know that the Zraki have updated our species classification protocols regarding humans. You are now categorized as extremely hazardous when provoked and unpredictable protective behaviors. This is our highest caution rating. Jack couldn't help a small smile. I think that's appropriate, Ambassador. We have encountered 6,214 sentient species in our history, Commander. Yours is only the third to receive this classification. I'm curious about the other two, Jack admitted. Both are extinct, Chrysla replied simply. They underestimated the Zraki as we nearly underestimated you. Jack met the alien's compound eyes. Then let's make sure neither of us makes that mistake again. Back on the Star Voyager, the medical bay was filled with children. Dr. Maria Ortiz checked each child carefully while crew members helped them contact their worried families on Colony Outpost 7. The ship buzzed with relief and quiet celebration. When Jack and Olivia returned from their meeting with the Zraki leadership, they were met with cheers. Katie and Kevin ran to their mother, who wrapped them in a tight hug, the ceremonial Zraki staff propped against a nearby wall. Commander Phillips to the bridge, came Danielle's voice over the ship's communication system. Jack made his way to the bridge where his crew was monitoring the Zraki vessel. Status report? He asked as he took his seat. The Zraki ship has maintained position, Danielle reported. No aggressive movements. and we've received word that Earth's response fleet will arrive in 3 hours. Jack nodded. Good. Send a message to Admiral Lee. Tell her the children are safe and we've reached a diplomatic solution with the Zraki. No military action is required, but we'd like the fleet to escort us back to Earth. Yes, sir, Danielle replied, relief evident in her voice. Alan approached Jack with a datapad. Sir, I've been reviewing the agreement the Zraki sent over. They're proposing a comprehensive cultural exchange program, quite different from their original plans for an alliance. Jack scanned the document. They've agreed to recognize Earth's boundaries and sovereign territories. No collection of specimens of any kind without express permission. And they're offering access to some of their medical technology. He looked up at his security chief. What do you think? It's a good start, Alan admitted. I'm still not sure I trust them, but they seem genuinely interested in understanding us better. Near disaster often creates the strongest foundations for lasting peace, Jack said. Let's arrange for a proper diplomatic team to continue these talks. 3 days later, the Star Voyager approached Earth with its precious cargo of 12 children, all eager to be reunited with their families. The ship was escorted by 6 Earth military vessels, but the journey had been peaceful. The Zraki diplomatic vessel followed at a respectful distance, invited to Earth for formal talks. Olivia sat with her twins in the ship's observation lounge, watching Earth grow larger in the viewing window. The Zraki staff rested across her lap, a reminder of how far she had gone to protect her children. Jack found her there and took a seat nearby. We'll be landing in about 2 hours, he said. I wanted to thank you again for your help with the Zraki. Your actions may have changed the course of human-alien relations forever. Olivia smiled softly. I was just being a mom. That's exactly what they needed to see, Jack said. Sometimes the most powerful statement is the simplest truth. He paused. The diplomatic corps has asked if you'd be willing to participate in the formal talks. The Zraki specifically requested your presence. She looked surprised. Me? I'm just a math teacher. You're a math teacher who took down 5 alien warriors to save not only your children, but others as well. And more importantly, you helped them understand something about humanity that we couldn't explain with words. Olivia looked at her sleeping children. I'll need to get Katie and Kevin settled first, but yes, I'll help if I can. When the Star Voyager landed at the International Space Center in Geneva, crowds of people cheered as the children were reunited with their families. News cameras captured the emotional moment when Governor Wilson embraced his son Ben. Parents hugged their children tightly, many crying with relief. 1 week later, the first formal treaty between Earth and the Zraki Imperium was signed. The Tauk Great Hall was filled with diplomats, military leaders, and special guests. Among them sat Olivia Mason and her twins, who watched with wide eyes as human and alien representatives made history together. The treaty contained many standard diplomatic agreements about trade, territory, and cooperation. But it also included one unique section that had never appeared in any other interstellar treaty, a special protocol regarding the treatment of children. It stated clearly that any harm or unauthorized contact with the young of either species would be considered an act of war. After the ceremony, Ambassador Krizla approached Olivia, its compound eyes reflecting the room's bright lights. Teacher, Mason, it said, using her professional title as a sign of respect. Our scientists have been studying human child-rearing practices. It is fascinating how your species invests so much in each individual offspring. Olivia smiled. It seems inefficient. Compared to your way, I'm sure. Different, not inferior, Krizla corrected. In fact, we have begun experiments with providing more guidance to our newly hatched young. The early results are promising. Increased survival rates and better cognitive development. You're adapting your practices based on what you learned. From us? Olivia asked, surprised. The Zraki have survived for millions of years by recognizing beneficial traits in other species, Krizla explained. Your protective instinct toward your young is clearly advantageous, even if we do not fully understand the emotional aspects. Jack joined them, now wearing the formal uniform of an Earth diplomatic liaison. I think this is the beginning of A valuable cultural exchange for both our peoples. Indeed, Chrysler agreed. Though I must inform you that all Zraki vessels have been updated with new protocols regarding human ships. The warning is quite specific. Do not interfere with human juveniles under any circumstances, as adults will respond with extreme and unpredictable force. Jack laughed. That's probably wise. As the reception continued around them, Kevin tugged on his mother's sleeve. Mom, can I ask the ambassador a question? Olivia nodded encouragingly. Kevin looked up at the towering alien. Do Zraki kids play games? Human kids play lots of games. Chrysler's head tilted in that now familiar gesture of curiosity. Young Zraki engage in combat training exercises from hatching. Is this similar to your games? Kind of, Kevin said. But our games are fun. They don't have to be about fighting. An interesting concept, Chrysler replied. Perhaps you could demonstrate some of these fun games during the cultural exchange. 6 months later, Colony Outpost 7 held a special ceremony to commemorate what they now called the Children's Day. A small monument was erected in the colony's central plaza with a simple plaque that read, We explore the stars in peace, but never mistake our kindness for weakness. The children of humanity are not to be trifled with. Beside it stood a replica of the Zraki ceremonial staff, displayed in a clear case. The real staff remained with Olivia, now an honored part of the diplomatic team that continued to build bridges between humans and the Zraki Imperium. As Jack watched the ceremony from the background, he thought about how close they had come to war, and how the simple, fierce love of a parent had changed everything. In his report to Earth Command, he had written one line that was now quoted in training manuals for all space explorers. In our journey among the stars, we have learned that human compassion can be our greatest weakness, but a human protecting their child is the most formidable force in the universe.